Next up, we have Claire Carpenter. Is Claire around? Oh, hi, Claire. Come on up. Claire spent the last 20 years technology space solving data-related problems. She likes to work on problems, how to protect your data, how to use your data. A lot of things I can respect around driving towards 100% analytics adoption, which is fantastic. So with that, I'll turn over to Claire.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. My name's Claire Carpenter. I work for Microstrategy. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our vision for how you can improve analytics adoption. So, let's get started. There's going to be a little bit of interaction in this, so I'm going to warn you ahead of time. When you make a decision in a matter of days or weeks, tell me what tools you're using to do that. Anyone? I'm sorry? Yeah, so, yeah, Excel. He's my plant for this evening. Thank you for that. What about PowerPoint? Anyone making decisions based on PowerPoint? It's okay, you can admit it. What about if you need to make decisions in hours? Google? Great answer, yeah. What else? Maybe Excel. What's that? Psychmetrics? Thank you. All right. What about if you need to make a decision in minutes or seconds? Talk to people? What about trusting your gut? Usually for those really quick decisions, you're in a pinch, you need to make a quick decision. So I'm going to show you a little video. Apologies in the back, you might not be able to hear the audio, but I think you'll get a sense of what we're getting at with this.
In Nagara, Japan, look at my case. Here, a group of chimpanzees have been trained to play a game that exposes something shocking about their memories. This is going to blow your mind. Here is how it works. 1, 2, 3. Remember where they are, because they're about to disappear. Can you point to where each number used to be in numerical order? Probably, it's pretty easy. 1, 2, 3. But what if we make it harder? Get ready to point to where each number was in order now. If you feel like you didn't have enough time to memorize the string, that's fine. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Or is it? Here is a chimpanzee taking exactly that long to memorize the same arrangement. Nailed it. Ayuru is currently Matsuzawa's best pupil, able to ace the memory tests at blazingly fast speeds.
Ready, get, set, go.
Oh man.
You may take a time as long as you want to remember 9 minutes.
Wow, even when I take time, I can't do it.
That's right. 13.7, 1.02.9. Getting better.
I got better, yeah. Because you were pressured.
But you move, it's 0.5 seconds.
You gotta be kidding me. That's way too fast. I got the first 3.
So you recognize that you cannot do just like you. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible.
So chimpanzee mainly living the world of here
Right now.
and now. So that is the life of chimpanzees.
Quick decision.
Quick decision.
Our ancestors didn't have that same pressure.
In the course of human evolution, we may have had this kind of capability, but we lost it.
Surprise. So when we thank you very much. Thank you. So when we think about getting an organization to 100% analytics adoption, we're thinking about how can you arm every single person in the organization with the data that they need to make a better decision. So, and usually I think we're making the assumption that having data will help you make a better decision versus just trusting your gut. So, When we look at the analytics evolution, we're basically on a scale here. We started with PC intelligence, so I've got all of this information in the PC. Then we went to the web, then we went to mobile. And what we've seen in that paradigm shift, people looking at dashboards, it might be like 15, 20% of your organization. When you take it to mobile, you might get to 40, 50, maybe even 60% of the organization. So we're aiming to get to 100%, and the idea that we have around this is called hyperintelligence. So it's built on a familiar idea. Did anyone use flashcards in school to learn their ABCs or numbers or anything like that? So it's built around the idea of a card that has key pieces of information on it about a certain topic. So in this case, it's an employee. It could be a customer. It could be around an activity. So in this case, it's a case number. It could be a claim. It could be an account, or it could be a product. And these are just examples of different kind of what we call hypercards that have these key metrics in them. So how do you use a hypercard? You surface it where somebody is doing the work. So instead of having to leave your workflow to go look for that information, the information is going to come to you, and it's going to do it without you having to click on anything. So the first example I'm going to show you is in the web. So this is basically on a regular website. The items that have cards associated with them are highlighted in color, and I can just hover over them, and the hypercard pops up. So I don't have to go look at a dashboard, drill, sort, do any of that work. I have those key KPIs right in front of me. Another example, in your productivity tools. So imagine you have someone in finance that wants to have the key KPIs about a vendor, a customer, a claim. You could be hovering over it and getting that data, and it'd be color-coded according to a certain KPI. Another example, within Salesforce. So how do you bring data into Salesforce for somebody who's using Salesforce all day, every day? I'm a sales manager, so that's part of what I do. When the data is only some of it's in Salesforce, this allows you, without changing Salesforce and by adding a Chrome extension, to surface data that's not in Salesforce on top of Salesforce. We're using this internally. Any of us would be happy to show you how we use this. We have employee cards, customer cards that we're surfacing through Salesforce. So you'll see this is a quote. We showed some other examples. So we're pulling data from other systems and surfacing it over that application. The next example is in data discovery. So in this case, we're showing a Power BI dashboard, and you have key items in that dashboard that have a hypercard highlighted. You can hover over it, so that you could be doing this to check data validity, for example. The next example is on a mobile device. So there's integration with iOS and Android. So my Hyper app knows where I'm going. So for example, if I was going to meet travelers, there's a customer card about travelers. 15 minutes before that appointment, it will pop up a notification and say, do you want to look at your hypercard for travelers? And that's within the calendar integration. So I don't have to do anything, it just pops up and offers it. There's also some really interesting telemetry tie-ins to this as well. So instead of having the calendar entry, perhaps I actually just show up at the traveler's office and recognize where I am geographically and says, do you want to look at the traveler's hypercard? Lastly, on screens, there's a really fun example. We have a Fitbit challenge at work because obviously healthy employees are less expensive employees. And so we have built a tie-in to Fitbit, and we have an employee challenge that is opt-in only around getting Fitbit steps. So this is actually at the employee lounge on the 7th floor at our headquarters building. If you have opted in and you walk by the TV screen, we have a digital badge on everyone's phone. It will recognize who you are, and it will pop up some key stats about you, how you're doing in your Fitbit challenge as you walk by that. So that's a real fun example, some employee engagement. This could just as easily be, key stats about your business or KPIs. So that's it. That's hyperintelligence.
Thank you, Claire.